Humanity.s was overlooked until they became the most feared species in the Galactic. Humans, by contrast, were small, fragile, and slow to develop. Most alien civilizations treated Earth as little more than a quaint planet, rich in resources but unimportant. Yet on Earth, humanity quietly prepared. The planet's nations still argued, competed, and sometimes fought among themselves, but they shared a single trait that the aliens did not notice. Humans could adapt. They could innovate. They could survive against all odds. Captain Alina Riker stared out of the observation window of the United Earth Space Command Station, orbiting just above Earth's atmosphere. The sun reflected off the distant stars, and tiny satellites blinked around her like fireflies. Alina was young, barely in her 30s, but her reputation had grown faster than anyone expected. She had an instinct for patterns and strategies, a sense that even the galaxy's most advanced species could not match. "Alina," said Commander Silva, her mentor and second-in-command, "we've received a new report. Another alien vessel just passed through the outer system without even scanning us." Alina's brow furrowed. "Again, they always ignore us." "Exactly," Silva said. "They think we are harmless. They see Earth as a farm, not a threat. But there is something strange about this particular ship. Its communication signals, they don't match any known pattern." Alina tapped her tablet and pulled up a stream of coded signals. Lines of alien symbols flickered across the screen. Most humans would have seen only gibberish. But Alina could feel the rhythm, the hidden logic. It was a subtle pattern, almost playful, as if the aliens assumed no one could understand it. "Interesting," she murmured. "They are testing us, not in battle, not yet, but in understanding. They don't think we can analyze this." Silva nodded slowly. "Most humans wouldn't even notice. That is our advantage." Alina smiled. She loved that thought. Being underestimated was a weapon in itself. If aliens ignored humans, they would never see the real threat coming. Meanwhile, far below in the city of New Tokyo, young scientists were working on experiments that could one day change the galaxy. Dr. Karan Patel, a genius in artificial intelligence, had just completed a small fleet of autonomous exploration drones. Unlike most alien technology, which relied on rigid programs, Karan's AI could improvise. It could learn in real time, adapt to new environments, and even predict the behavior of other intelligent species. "We could test them near the asteroid belt," Karan suggested to his assistant, a bright teenager named Leela. "It is a dangerous area for aliens because of the shifting debris, but humans could navigate it safely. If these drones survive, it will prove that human ingenuity is already beyond what others expect." Leela nodded eagerly. "Imagine if the aliens saw this. They would think we are just lucky, but really it's strategy, not luck." Exactly, Curran thought. Luck had nothing to do with it. Humans had something the aliens could never measure: creativity under pressure, intuition, and a stubborn refusal to fail. Back on the command station, Alina received a message from Earth's leaders. The Galactic Council, the alliance of advanced alien civilizations, had sent a formal invitation. They wanted humans to join the council to be part of galactic diplomacy. Alina read the message aloud. "Earth is invited to the Galactic Council to represent humanity among the stars. Attendance is requested within 1 local year." The crew of the station laughed. "They must be joking," said Lieutenant Morales. "Do they really think humans can sit with the great empires?" Alina shook her head. "No, they aren't joking. They just don't realize who we are yet." The council expected humans to fail. They expected them to embarrass themselves in front of the galaxy's most powerful species. That assumption made Alina's plan simple: learn, observe, and prepare. Humans did not have the largest fleet, the fastest ships, or the most deadly weapons, but they had something far more dangerous: unpredictability. In the following months, humanity quietly prepared. Ships were redesigned, combining speed and flexibility rather than raw firepower. Crews were trained to improvise, to think like chess players who could change the rules mid-game. Scientists worked on adaptive AI that could learn from any encounter. Strategists studied alien tactics and predicted every possible move, but always left room for the unexpected. During training simulations, humans shocked the alien observers who were secretly monitoring them. A squadron of young pilots outmaneuvered a fleet simulation twice their size, using the environment of space itself, the gravitational pull of asteroids, solar winds, and radiation fields, to their advantage. Every maneuver was clever, every decision unpredictable. Humans are reckless, one alien diplomat said to another during a private observation. They should not be allowed near the council. Reckless, the other replied, or maybe they are more clever than we expected. Elena knew the truth. Humans had been underestimated for centuries. They were expected to be weak, slow, and foolish. But humans had learned from their mistakes, from their failures, from every challenge Earth had ever faced. Each war, each disaster, each invention had built something greater than the sum of its parts, and the galaxy did not see it coming. One evening, as Earth rotated slowly below the station, Elena stood on the observation deck. She watched the lights of cities flicker, tiny points of life against the dark planet. For centuries, humanity had been ignored. Now, for the first time, the galaxy was beginning to notice. "We are small," she whispered to herself. "We are fragile, but we are not weak." A sudden alert flashed on her screen. Another alien ship had entered the system. This one was different, larger, heavily armed, and moving with caution. "Elena," said Silva, "they are here, they are scanning, they know we exist." Elena's heart raced, but not with fear. She felt excitement. Finally, the first step in humanity's true journey had begun. The aliens would see humans, not as insignificant, not as quaint, but as something entirely unexpected. The alien ship's sensors began probing the station. Humans activated countermeasures not to hide, but to confuse and mislead. The aliens would learn, if they learned at all, that humans did not follow the rules. In the control room, Elena directed the crew. "Let us show them what we can do, not with firepower, but with thought. With speed, with flexibility, with humanity." The aliens expected a weak, fearful species. Instead, they found clever, coordinated humans who could outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast many of their most advanced designs. By the end of the encounter, the alien ship withdrew. Not defeated in battle, but unnerved, cautious, and curious. Reports later described humans as inconsistent, unpredictable, possibly dangerous. For Elena and the crew, it was a victory, but more than that, it was proof. Proof that humans had been underestimated for centuries. Proof that the galaxy had miscalculated entirely. Back on Earth, ordinary people went about their daily lives, unaware of the hidden victories in orbit above. Children played in parks, families dined under lights, and scientists studied their experiments. All of them were part of a species that was quietly preparing to change the galaxy. And in the quiet of space, Elena Riker whispered a promise. "They may have overlooked us once, but they will never do so again." For the first time in history, humanity had been noticed. And what the galaxy did not yet know was this: being noticed was only the beginning. The stars above Earth sparkled, endless and infinite. To the alien empires, they were merely points of light. But to humanity, they were opportunities, challenges, and the canvas of a future that no one would ever ignore again. The galaxy had begun to whisper about humans, though no one yet understood the truth. Alien civilizations still dismissed Earth as a small, unremarkable planet. They spoke in council halls and on trading stations about the reckless humans who somehow survived in space, never imagining the quiet power that humanity had been building for centuries. Captain Elena Riker stood on the bridge of the United Earth flagship, Horizon, the largest human ship ever constructed. Its design was unusual by alien standards. Unlike the massive, slow warships of the Galactic Council, Horizon was fast, flexible, and adaptable. Its weapons were not the most powerful, but its systems could change their configuration mid-battle, and its crew had been trained to improvise in ways that no alien strategist could predict. "Elena," said Lieutenant Morales, her tactical officer, "our sensors are picking up a patrol fleet near the asteroid belt. They're scanning the region for unregistered ships. It's exactly the kind of place we wanted to test our new AI drones." Elena smiled. "Good. Let's see how human ingenuity performs under pressure." Far below, in Earth's orbital research station, Dr. Karan Patel was monitoring the autonomous AI drones he had designed. These drones were small, fast, and capable of learning on the fly. Most alien civilizations relied on rigid programming, machines that could only repeat patterns. Karan's drones could observe, adapt, and even predict the behavior of alien ships. "They're ready," he said to his assistant, Leela. "Once we release them, they'll navigate the asteroid belt and avoid any patrols. If the aliens notice, they'll think it's luck. But it won't be luck. It will be human planning and adaptability." Leela nodded. "It's amazing to think humans could outsmart aliens without even firing a shot." Exactly, Curran replied. That's our advantage. They look at us and see weakness. We turn that into strength. Meanwhile, Horizon approached the asteroid belt. Alina stood at the command console, studying the incoming patrols. Alien ships moved with precision, expecting predictable maneuvers. They assumed humans would be cautious, slow, or hesitant. Alina activated the first wave of drones. Hundreds of small, silver machines shot into the asteroid field, weaving between rocks and debris with unmatched agility. They moved in formations that seemed chaotic but were carefully calculated. The alien patrol spotted them immediately. Sensors flashed. Warnings blared. "They're trying to sneak past us," one alien captain said. "Destroy them." But the drones did not flee. Instead, they led the patrol ships into the asteroid belt, using the massive rocks as shields. The aliens fired, but most of their shots missed. The drones adjusted instantly, avoiding collisions and guiding the human ship through paths no alien could predict. "Alina," Morales said, eyes wide, they're actually doing it. Our drones are controlling the engagement." "Of course they are," Alina replied. "Humans do not follow the rules. We create them." As the patrol chased the drones, Horizon emerged on the other side of the asteroid field. Its ship systems adapted to the environment, using solar winds for speed boosts and gravity fields for evasive maneuvers. Alien sensors could not keep up. Every attempt to scan or attack the human ship failed. Back on Earth, Curran and Leela watched the live feed. "It's perfect," Curran said, a smile spreading across his face. "The aliens think humans are lucky or reckless. They don't understand the planning behind it," Leela grinned. "It's beautiful. We're proving that humans can solve problems no one else can." The encounter ended without a single human casualty. The alien patrol withdrew, confused and cautious. They reported back to the Galactic Council, calling humans dangerously unpredictable and not to be underestimated. Yet no one knew the full story. Later that day, Alina held a briefing with her crew. "We have to remember," she said, "our advantage is not strength, not technology, not size. It is adaptability, creativity, and teamwork. Every alien empire has specialized systems. They are strong in one way but limited in others. Humans are strong in all ways, even where they appear weak. That is why they underestimate us, and why we will always have the edge." The crew nodded. They had trained for years for this moment. They had learned to work together, to improvise, to think quickly under pressure. They knew that humans thrived where others struggled, in the unexpected, the unknown, and the impossible. Meanwhile, in hidden research labs across Earth, scientists were working on other projects that could tip the balance even further. Engineers built small, stealthy ships that could change shape in flight. Mathematicians developed algorithms capable of predicting alien behavior. Biologists created adaptive survival suits that allowed humans to endure conditions no other species could survive. Every innovation was a small step toward the day humanity would no longer be overlooked. Alina received a secure message from Earth's leaders. The Galactic Council had scheduled a formal observation mission. They wanted to test humans further, not through diplomacy, but by seeing how they performed in simulated conflict zones. "They want to challenge us," Alina said to her crew. "Good, let them. Every challenge they throw at us will teach us something. Every attempt to control us will fail, and every observation they make will prove one thing: humans cannot be predicted." The Council believed they were testing a weak species, but the humans were preparing to show something entirely different. Over the next several weeks, humans conducted exercises, simulations, and real-world trials. Young pilots were paired with experienced strategists to practice improvisation. Engineers adjusted ship designs to allow for split-second reconfiguration. Scientists released new drones and AI programs to test alien responses. The more the aliens observed, the more confused they became. Humans did not fight like other species. They did not rely on brute force or rigid strategy. Instead, they analyzed, adapted, and found solutions that were entirely outside the alien playbook. In one simulation, a human fleet faced a much larger alien force in the outer rim. Instead of charging or retreating, the humans split into multiple smaller groups, each group performing independent maneuvers, confusing the alien command systems. One human ship, commanded by a young cadet named Ryo Tanaka, led a decoy operation, drawing several alien ships into a trap within a dense asteroid cluster. The aliens struggled to respond. Their sensors failed to track the humans effectively. Their weapons were misaligned, and communication between ships became chaotic. When the simulation ended, human losses were minimal, while the alien victories were less than expected. In private, some alien commanders whispered uneasily, "These humans, they think differently. They are not predictable. They may be more dangerous than we imagined." Alina knew that the whispers were correct. Humans had been underestimated for centuries. Earth had survived wars, plagues, and disasters, and every challenge had made humans stronger. While alien civilizations specialized and became rigid, humans stayed flexible, learning from every mistake. One evening, as the sun set over Earth's horizon, Alina walked across the deck of Horizon. She watched the planet below, glowing with lights from millions of cities. Humans on the surface lived ordinary lives, unaware of the hidden strength they carried. "They don't know us yet," she murmured to herself. "They think we are small, weak, insignificant, but every day, every invention, every training session prepares us. They will learn soon enough." Her assistant, Morales, joined her. "Do you ever think about how much they underestimate us?" he asked. Alina smiled. "Every day, it's our greatest weapon. Let them underestimate us. The more they do, the stronger we become in their eyes, and the more terrified they will be when they finally understand what humans can do." Across the galaxy, small reports filtered back to the Galactic Council. Humans were clever. They survived situations that should have destroyed them. They adapted faster than predicted. And while the Council believed it had control over the narrative, the humans were quietly preparing for a future that no alien could predict. Alina returned to the bridge. "We are ready," she said. "The next phase begins soon. It is not enough to survive or avoid detection. Soon the galaxy will see what humans are truly capable of. And when they do, everything will change." The crew of Horizon nodded. They were no longer a weak, overlooked species. They were a team, united, adaptable, and unpredictable. And in the vast galaxy, where countless species thought themselves superior, humans had begun to show a strength that no one had anticipated. As Earth rotated below them, bright and full of life, Alina felt a sense of pride. Humanity had been ignored for centuries. Now slowly they were becoming a force that could not be dismissed. And when the first real test arrived, the galaxy would learn a lesson it would never forget. Humans were not just survivors. They were masters of adaptation, cunning, and innovation. And that was only the beginning. The galaxy had begun to notice humans, though many still underestimated them. Aliens whispered that humans were reckless, unpredictable, and perhaps dangerous, but none of them truly understood the species' full potential. Humanity was about to demonstrate that potential for the first time in battle. Captain Alina Riker stood on the bridge of Horizon, reviewing the latest intelligence. A border-world colony, called Neridia, had been attacked by a fleet of marauders. These marauders were notorious across the sector, heavily armed, fast, and ruthless. Alien empires had often ignored Neridia, believing it insignificant, but Alina knew this would be humanity's first real test. "Alina," said Lieutenant Morales, pointing to the holographic map, "the marauders outnumber us 5-1. Conventional tactics would guarantee a loss." Alina's eyes narrowed. "Conventional tactics are not our strength. Improvisation is, adaptability is. Humanity thrives where others fail." The Horizon accelerated through space, weaving between asteroids and energy fields. Its small, flexible fleet followed closely, moving like a shadow through the stars. Humans were vastly outnumbered, but they did not fear the enemy. They had trained for this moment, studied alien tactics, and tested strategies in simulations that no alien mind could predict. Meanwhile, in the Marauder flagship, Commander Zalric frowned at the approaching human ships. "They are here," he hissed. "Prepare for annihilation. These humans will learn what it means to challenge the mighty." The humans did not respond with raw firepower. Instead, they relied on strategy, cunning, and coordination. The drones Curran Patel had designed earlier were deployed first, creating illusions in space, drawing the Marauder fleet into dangerous asteroid clusters. Small human squads moved in unexpected directions, confusing enemy sensors. Alina watched the screen carefully. "Deploy the decoy fleet," she ordered. "Lead them toward the nebula field. Keep Horizon hidden until the right moment." Lieutenant Morales grinned. "They'll never see it coming." Indeed, the marauders charged confidently, assuming the humans would scatter in fear. Instead, the decoy fleet lured them into a narrow asteroid corridor, where debris blocked maneuvering and made their weapons ineffective. Alien ships collided with rocks or had to stop entirely to avoid destruction. In the control room of Horizon, Alina and her team executed the next phase. Small boarding teams, equipped with magnetic suits and rapid propulsion gear, shot across space in compact shuttles. Their goal was not to destroy the ships from a distance, but to disable them from within. Ryo Tanaka, the young cadet who had impressed everyone in simulations, led one of these teams. "Stick to the plan," he told his crew. "We move fast, strike precise, and exit before they can react. Remember, they don't expect humans to think like this." The Marauder ships were caught off guard. Humans boarded them with speed and precision, sabotaging engines, overriding control systems, and leaving chaos in their wake. Alien crews were confused, panicked, and unable to counter the unexpected tactics. On the bridge of Horizon, Alina monitored the battle. The humans were vastly outnumbered, yet their teamwork turned the tide. Each small group operated independently, improvising when necessary and always adapting to new threats. Where alien commanders relied on predictable orders and rigid formations, humans thrived in unpredictability. "Commander Zalric doesn't understand us," Alina said. "He expects a straight fight, but we fight differently, we think differently, we win differently." As the boarding operations continued, the Marauders' formation collapsed. Ships collided, engines exploded, and communications broke down. In less than an hour, a fleet that had expected an easy victory was in total disarray. "Status report," Alina demanded. Lieutenant Morales replied, his voice steady but excited. "The majority of the Marauder fleet is incapacitated or retreating. Minimal human losses. They didn't expect this level of coordination." Alina allowed herself a brief smile. "Good. Let's finish the operation and ensure no one can regroup. Humans do not leave threats behind." The next phase involved precision strikes. The humans did not aim to destroy everything. They aimed to incapacitate. By targeting engines, navigation systems, and weapons, the humans rendered Marauder ships useless without causing unnecessary deaths. This careful, calculated approach shocked even the aliens observing from a distance. Curran Patel, monitoring from Earth, was thrilled. "Look at that," he said to Leela. "Humans aren't just fighting, they're thinking, adapting, and outsmarting them at every step." Leela nodded. "It's incredible. We've underestimated how far humans can push creativity in combat." Back in space, the Marauder commander finally realized the humans were not following any known patterns. "Impossible," Zalric growled. "They adapt faster than predicted. Their strategy, it's unpredictable. We cannot calculate their next move." That was humanity's greatest advantage. They were not bound by tradition or rigidity. They learned from every mistake, adjusted instantly, and applied ingenuity in real time. As the last Marauder ship fled into the outer rim, the humans secured the colony of Neridia. Supplies, shelters, and defense systems were restored. The colonists who had feared annihilation now looked upon their saviors in awe. Humanity had arrived, and in a way no alien had expected, quietly, cleverly, and decisively. Alina stood on the bridge of Horizon, watching the aftermath. "We've shown them what humans are capable of," she said. "But this is only the beginning. They will underestimate us again, and we will be ready. Every encounter teaches us something new. Every challenge strengthens us." Ryo Tanaka, still riding adrenaline from his first combat mission, approached Alina. "Captain, I never thought humans could do something like this. We were outnumbered 5-1, and yet we won." Alina placed a hand on his shoulder. "Ryo, humans always win when they refuse to give up and when they think differently. We are not the strongest species in the galaxy, but we are the smartest. We are unpredictable. That is why we survive, and that is why the galaxy will learn to fear us." News of the Neridia victory spread quickly. Even small alien empires began to take notice. Reports described the humans as reckless, unpredictable, and dangerous. But the true danger was more subtle. Humans were clever, adaptable, and united. They could learn, improvise, and turn even the most desperate situation into a victory. In council halls, alien diplomats whispered nervously. "The humans, they survived the Marauder attack. How? How can such a small species defeat a trained, heavily armed fleet?" "No one knows," replied another diplomat. "They are not just strong, they are clever, unpredictable. We may have underestimated them for too long." On Earth, ordinary people went about their daily lives, unaware that the galaxy's perception of humanity had begun to change. Children played in parks, workers completed their shifts, and scientists continued to invent. They did not know that humanity had achieved something extraordinary in space, showing the first real signs that the galaxy's expectations were wrong. Elena reflected on the battle later in the quiet of her cabin. Humans had been underestimated for centuries. Now, after their first strike, they had begun to prove the truth. Humans were not just survivors. They were a species capable of changing the rules, of outthinking every opponent, and of standing tall against impossible odds. The stars outside her window seemed brighter than ever. Each one represented a challenge, an opportunity, a possibility. Humans would face them all. And one day, the galaxy would learn what humans had always known: being underestimated was humanity's greatest advantage. Tomorrow, Elena whispered, we prepare for the next challenge. And the next, and the next. They will never see us coming, and they will never understand us until it is too late. The victory at Neridia was just the beginning. Humanity had struck for the first time, and the galaxy was already beginning to notice. Aliens would speak of humans with caution now, but they still had no idea what was coming. The species they had dismissed as weak and insignificant had revealed its first taste of hidden strength, and Elena knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity would continue to rise, not through brute force, but through creativity, adaptability, and courage. They would turn every underestimation into a victory, and every challenge into proof that humans were a force unlike any other in the galaxy. As Horizon left Neridia behind and headed back toward the outer rim, the crew celebrated quietly. They had faced the impossible and emerged victorious. They had proven that humans were clever, united, and unafraid. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, alien commanders began to reconsider the threat of humanity. They had underestimated the humans once. They would not make that mistake again. The victory at Neridia had changed something. Across the outer sectors of the galaxy, alien civilizations whispered about humans. At first, they dismissed it as luck, as a strange fluke. But as news spread, the whispers grew louder, tinged with unease. Humans were clever, adaptable, and unpredictable. They had outsmarted pirates, outmaneuvered fleets, and struck without warning. On the bridge of Horizon, Captain Elena Riker studied the latest reports. The marauders had retreated, and colonies across the outer rim were sending messages of gratitude and relief. But Elena knew the galaxy had only seen the beginning. "Commander Silva," Elena said, "it's time to take the next step. Humans cannot remain in the shadows. We need allies, intelligence, and influence. If the galaxy fears us and respects us at the same time, we gain leverage no empire can ignore." Silva nodded. "What's the plan?" Elena smiled. "We reach out to the smaller systems first, the colonies, the independent planets, the oppressed species. They have reason to fear the larger empires, and they will see humanity as a force that can protect them. We offer partnership, and in return, we gain their loyalty and intelligence." Meanwhile, on a small colony called Trellis IV, a representative of humanity met with local leaders. Humans had arrived quietly, offering help to improve defense systems, trade routes, and emergency preparedness. The aliens who ruled Trellis IV were wary but quickly realized that humans were not just powerful. They were practical, creative, and fair. "We have no armies as large as the neighboring empires," Elena explained during the meeting. "But we have ingenuity, adaptability, and the ability to solve problems quickly. Join us, and your people will have protection you could never imagine." The colony's leaders were impressed. They agreed to form an alliance, giving humans access to valuable intelligence about the movements of larger alien fleets. Word of this alliance spread, and other colonies began to request similar partnerships. Humans were no longer ignored, they were sought after. Back on Horizon, Lieutenant Morales watched the communications feed. "Elena, the smaller empires are responding quickly. They see the humans as a symbol of hope. Some are even willing to share their technology and data." "Exactly," Elena said. "Humans are not just fighting for themselves. We are creating a network, a web of allies that even the largest empires cannot control, and every interaction strengthens our reputation." The Galactic Council, watching all of this from the distance, began to take notice. Reports of human ingenuity, victories, and alliances reached their halls. Many council members were uneasy. Humans had started to challenge the assumptions that had held for centuries, that humans were weak, insignificant, and predictable. In a private meeting, Counselor Varkin of the Geridian Empire spoke sharply. These humans, they grow stronger every day. They adapt, they outthink, and they form alliances we cannot predict. If we do not act soon, they will become a threat to every empire in the galaxy. Counselor Myra of the Lumerian Confederation shook her head. I told you, Varkin, we underestimated them. They are not reckless. They are intelligent, cooperative, dangerous in ways we cannot calculate. Alina and her team were not idle during this rising tension. While forming alliances, they continued to refine their technology and strategy. Engineers developed new modular ships that could change shape and function mid-flight. Scientists improved AI drones that could learn from alien tactics almost instantly. Pilots trained in zero-gravity maneuvers that no alien species had ever attempted. In one operation, humans coordinated a convoy of Allied ships through a contested sector known for pirates and rogue fleets. Using advanced tactics, they avoided ambushes, rescued stranded vessels, and neutralized threats without significant losses. Young Cadet Ryo Tanaka, now a rising hero among human fleets, led one such mission. We need to think like our enemies, he instructed his team. Not just react, but anticipate. Use the terrain, the environment, and our unpredictability. Humans win when the enemy cannot predict us. The operation was a success. The small empires celebrated humanity as saviors, and even neutral observers took note. Alien scouts reported, humans do not follow the same rules. They are unpredictable, fast, and effective. Avoid direct confrontation unless necessary. The humans' reputation was spreading not just as clever strategists, but also as fair and dependable allies. Many smaller species, long oppressed by larger empires, sought human protection. Unlike alien powers that demanded loyalty, humans offered partnership based on mutual respect and cooperation. This approach won hearts and minds. Alina received a message from one of these new allies, a diplomat from the planet Orcs IV. We have studied your methods and tactics. Your species is unique. You do not fight as others do. Your intelligence, adaptability, and courage are beyond anything we have seen. We are proud to stand with you. Alina shared the message with her crew. This is why humans succeed, she said. Not because of weapons or numbers, but because we understand people, adapt to situations, and never stop learning. The more humans achieved, the more alien empires began to panic. The marauders, previously confident in their power, avoided sectors now under human protection. Merchant fleets that once ignored human interference sought permission before passing through territories allied with humans. Even the Galactic Council began discussing humans with caution rather than dismissal. In one tense moment, an alien coalition secretly planned to eliminate humanity before it grew stronger. They deployed spies and covert fleets, hoping to catch humans off guard. But humans had anticipated this. Using intelligence gathered from allied colonies and advanced surveillance, they detected the approach of the covert fleet. Alina ordered her fleet to prepare traps, decoys, and feints. Small groups of human ships acted independently, luring the enemy into asteroid fields and narrow nebula passages. AI drones jammed sensors and created false fleet formations. The alien coalition's plan failed spectacularly. From her observation deck, Alina watched as the enemy retreated in confusion. They underestimated humans again, she said softly, and they will continue to do so until it is too late. Lieutenant Morales added, It's amazing. They came with the intent to destroy us, and instead, they're running away. Humans are becoming the most feared species in the sector, even without anyone realizing it fully. Exactly, Alina said. Fear is not just about power. It's about unpredictability, strategy, and intelligence. Humans have all three in ways no one else does. Even as humans continued to rise in reputation, they never became reckless. Every alliance, every mission, and every operation was carefully planned. Humanity's strength lay not in arrogance, but in preparation, adaptability, and unity. In private, the Galactic Council began to argue over what to do. Some feared that humans could disrupt the balance of power entirely. Others suggested diplomacy, hoping to include humans in the council to manage them. But no one fully understood what humans were capable of, and that uncertainty caused growing anxiety among the most powerful civilizations. On Earth, ordinary humans remained unaware of the larger galactic consequences of their species' actions. Families went about daily life, scientists continued experiments, and children played under bright skies. Yet each day, humanity's hidden strength grew. Fleets expanded, technology improved, and alliances formed. Every human acted as part of a larger plan that no alien could predict. Alina, reflecting on the growth of humanity's reputation, understood that this was just the beginning. "We have shown the galaxy our strength, cleverness, and fairness," she said to her crew. "But the real test is still ahead. We must continue to rise, not just to defend ourselves, but to change the way the galaxy sees humanity." As humans prepared for future challenges, alien empires began to take notice in a new way. Reports described humans as dangerous, unpredictable, and clever beyond calculation. Fear replaced underestimation, but it came slowly, unevenly, and too late for the aliens who had ignored humanity for so long. Humans were no longer overlooked. They were respected, admired, and feared. Their rising reputation was built not on terror, but on ingenuity, courage, and fairness, a combination the galaxy had never truly encountered. And Alina knew that, soon, humanity's influence would extend far beyond the outer sectors, reaching even the councils of the largest empires. Every victory, every alliance, and every clever maneuver built toward the day when the galaxy would have to recognize humans as a force unlike any other. She stood on the bridge of horizon, gazing at the stars that stretched endlessly ahead. "This is only the beginning," she whispered. "The galaxy thought they knew humans. They were wrong, and soon they will fear us not because of our numbers or our weapons, but because of our minds, our courage, and our unity. Humanity cannot be controlled, predicted, or defeated. And that is the greatest power we have." The stars reflected off the ship's hull like countless possibilities. Each one represented a challenge to overcome, an alliance to form, or an enemy to outsmart. And humans would face them all, not recklessly, but cleverly, with courage and with unity. The galaxy had begun to fear the humans, but it did not yet know their full potential. That fear, combined with respect, would grow with every mission, every victory, and every alliance. Humans had risen from being overlooked to becoming a rising power feared and respected in equal measure. And as humanity continued to spread across the stars, one thing was certain. The galaxy would never again make the mistake of underestimating Earth. The galaxy had changed. What was once a quiet, overlooked planet had grown into something no one fully understood. Humans were no longer underestimated. Across the stars, alien empires whispered about them, feared them, and respected them. Their victories, alliances, and ingenuity had reshaped the balance of power. Captain Alina Riker stood on the bridge of horizon, looking out at the endless expanse of stars. The human fleet had grown beyond imagination, composed of ships small and large, each built for speed, flexibility, and innovation. Thousands of drones, AI-assisted and self-learning, moved in formations that seemed chaotic to alien eyes but were perfectly coordinated in human minds. "Status report," Alina said, her voice calm but firm. Lieutenant Morales stepped forward. "Allied fleets are in position, Captain. The outer rim colonies are secure. Marauder remnants have been neutralized, and the Council's observation teams have acknowledged our strategies as unprecedented." Alina nodded. "Good. The time has come to show the galaxy what humans can do when underestimated no longer." Far in the galactic core, alien empires convened in secret. The Geridian Empire, the Lumerian Confederation, and even the remnants of the Marauder fleets had gathered to discuss the growing threat of humanity. Counselor Varkin of Geridia slammed his clawed hand on the table. "We allowed them to grow too long. They adapt faster than any species in the galaxy. Their fleets are clever. Their strategy is unpredictable. We must act before they become unstoppable." Counselor Myra of Lumeria shook her head. "It is already too late, Varkin. We underestimated them for centuries. Now humans are allies to many small empires. They have influence, intelligence, and power that no single council can control. Acting against them will only unite them further." And Myra was right. Across the outer sectors, human influence had spread quietly but effectively. Through alliances, diplomacy, and assistance, humanity had created a network no alien power could easily break. Colonies previously vulnerable to pirate fleets or oppressive empires now relied on human ingenuity for protection. Elena prepared a fleet for a demonstration of humanity's full strength, not for conquest, but to show that humans were a force unlike any other. The fleet moved as one, but its formations were deceptive. Small groups acted independently, flanking invisible enemies and simulating maneuvers that no alien command could predict. AI drones scrambled enemy sensors, created false fleets, and jammed communications. Large human warships moved with speed and precision, striking where least expected. "Remember," Elena said to her captains, "our strength is in unpredictability. We do not follow the rules they expect. We adapt, we improvise, and we win." Show them why humans are not just a species, they are a force of nature. The first engagement began in the neutral space near Syndrel sector, a contested region known for conflicts between rival alien fleets. Humans were outnumbered, as always, but never outsmarted. Young Cadet Ryo Tanaka led a small strike team. "Captain, we have multiple enemy squadrons approaching," he reported. Elena nodded. "Use the decoy fleet. Draw them into the asteroid cluster. Trust your instincts. Humans win where others fail to predict." The maneuver worked perfectly. Alien fleets were lured into narrow corridors filled with debris, energy fields, and hidden mines. Their sensors failed to track the humans, and communication breakdowns caused chaos among enemy ranks. The humans struck next. Boarding teams disabled ships from within, AI drones intercepted communications, and human ships used the environment, gravity wells, solar winds, and asteroid clusters, to gain tactical advantage. Ships that seemed massive and powerful were rendered useless without a single fatal shot. In less than an hour, the opposing fleets had been neutralized. Alien commanders watching from afar reported in disbelief. "The humans, they are everywhere. Their strategy is unpredictable. Their fleet is small yet devastating. They are not to be fought directly." Elena looked at the reports calmly. "This is how humans are feared," she said softly. "Not through brute force, but through ingenuity, unity, and adaptability. The galaxy cannot predict us, control us, or ignore us." Even the Galactic Council, which had once dismissed humanity as insignificant, took notice. Delegates watched human tactics in amazement and fear. Humans had become the species no one could fully calculate. They had intelligence, creativity, and courage combined in a way that surpassed every other civilization. Back on Earth, ordinary humans continued their lives, unaware of the scope of their species' achievement. Children played in parks, scientists worked on new inventions, and families shared meals under peaceful skies. Humanity's greatness was not in domination, but in the clever use of mind and courage combined. Elena received a message from one of the Allied colonies, Orcs IV. "Captain Riker, your species is remarkable. Humans do not fight as others do. You think, adapt, and win where others fail. You are a species to be respected and feared." Elena smiled. "Thank you. That is exactly what the galaxy should understand. Humanity survives because we never stop learning, adapting, and improving. Fear is a consequence, not the goal. Respect is earned through intelligence and action." The human's reputation continued to grow. Alien merchants, diplomats, and fleet commanders who once laughed at Earth now approached cautiously, sometimes even seeking guidance or protection. Humans were no longer ignored. They had become a species feared not for raw strength alone, but for their ability to outthink and outmaneuver every opponent. In the following months, humans faced several challenges orchestrated by alien empires. Spies attempted sabotage, fleets attempted ambushes, and council powers sought to manipulate human influence. Each time, humans adapted, countered, and often turned the situation into a victory. Elena, standing on the observation deck of Horizon, watched the stars stretch endlessly ahead. "We have come far," she said to Morales. "The galaxy believed humans were weak, predictable, and insignificant. They were wrong. Now they fear us," Morales said, awe in his voice. "Yes," Elena replied, "and they will continue to fear us because humans cannot be fully predicted. Our strength is not just in ships or weapons. It is in mind, courage, and unity. That is why we are now the most feared species in the galaxy." The fleet returned to human space as heroes. Colonies celebrated, scientists continued innovation, and children listened to stories of humans who could outthink any enemy. Humanity's legend had grown from whispers into undeniable truth. Even alien empires learned to respect humans. They no longer assumed that numbers guaranteed victory. They realized that ingenuity, creativity, and adaptability could turn any odds into success, and humans had mastered these qualities better than anyone else in the galaxy. Elena reflected on the journey from overlooked species to galactic power. Humanity had survived ignorance, ridicule, and underestimation. They had thrived not by overwhelming force, but by being clever, adaptable, and united. Every challenge, every victory, and every alliance had built toward this moment. Humans, Elena whispered, we were overlooked once, but now the galaxy knows us. They see our strength, our courage, and our mind. They fear us, and rightly so, and the best part. This is only the beginning. The stars above stretched infinitely, each one a challenge, a territory, or a future mission. Humanity had proven it could survive, thrive, and dominate in ways the galaxy had never imagined. And as humans looked to the future, one thing was certain: Earth would never again be dismissed, ignored, or underestimated. Captain Elena Riker looked at her crew. Remember this day, the day humanity became the most feared species in the galaxy. We do not fight recklessly, but we always think, always adapt, and always win. That is our strength. That is humanity. The crew cheered, not in arrogance, but in pride and determination. They knew their species had changed the galaxy forever. Humanity had risen from obscurity to power, from weakness to fear, from being overlooked to being unstoppable. And somewhere across the stars, alien empires whispered again, but this time with caution. They underestimated humans once. They will never make that mistake again. The galaxy had learned a lesson that would echo for generations. Humanity was clever, adaptable, united, and unstoppable. They were no longer just a species. They were a force of nature, feared and respected by all. And as Horizon led the human fleet across the stars, Captain Elena Riker smiled. Humanity had finally claimed its place in the galaxy. The stars above Earth were no longer distant points of light. They were opportunities, challenges, and a canvas for a species that would never again be overlooked. Humanity had risen, and the galaxy would never forget it.